Hello everyone, welcome to a new tutorial, and this tutorial is going to be about Plexus settings and user management. So as you can see, once we go to the login page, we have a user here, which is an email that is generated automatically when you install Plexus Cloud the first time. And then if we enter our password, then we can sign in. Now, to manage users or to add new users, you can go on the left side here in the last tab, users. We have our users list with the name, email, and the type of user that we have. So if we go in the info page, you see that we can change the name. So for example, call it test. Last name here, the username needs to be an email, and then our password to log in, and the panel passcode. So in the HMI panel video, we explain how to log in more quickly. You can enter a 4-digit number in order to edit or to control the machine directly without having to go through the login process. So we can update it over here, and we see automatically this changed the name. Now you can add new users. We can give it a new name, a last name, an email, the access level. So here we can give administration access level, which pretty much have access like the super user, the super admin. The only thing that it cannot do is actually delete or edit the super admin, but it can do everything else. Supervisor have most of the access. There are some limited access to example deleting functions and so on. An operator that can only access the HMI panel and control the machine itself. And view only that cannot have access to pretty much anything other than viewing the HMI panel. So for example, let's give it an administrator, password, ABC, confirm password here, and the panel passcode 1234. Okay, so now we have a new user. So if we log out, on top right of the screen, we have this little drop down. We can log out. Now, once we're in the login page, now there's going to be the 2 emails available. So we can click on the test, which is the new one, put ABC, sign in. So at the bottom here, we're going to see now that the logged in user, it's actually test@gmail.com, which is Dario. Okay, so if we go to the user page again, we can see only us because we're admin. We cannot see the super admin, and so only the super admin can then administrate and delete or manage admins itself. All right, now a couple of other settings here. On the top right, we saw that button to log out. There's also other buttons here. One is export the project. This window pop up, and pretty much you can give it a name, test project, and export it locally. So exporting locally will export a zip file that we'll find down here. This will contain all the information of Plexus of your project, including all devices, sections, functions, alarms, black box, and panels. So everything can be exported and saved just in case you want to import either another machine that is the same, or to just save snapshots. Another option is when you export it, if you have the cloud connected, you can give it a name, and once you click cloud upload, it will be uploaded and stored into the cloud. Again, this requires that you have a login and a user with Plexus Automation Cloud. On the opposite, we can also upload a project. So by uploading a project, we can choose a file. If we choose a file of a project that was exported, so it needs to be a zip file, then we can decide what we want to import. In this case, we'll import everything. So devices, section, function, alarm, black box, and panels. If, for example, we only want to import the devices setup or the section setup, we can just remove all these ones and just import what we would like to import. So once we choose a file from the system, so in our download, we'll have this project export that we just exported right now. So once we choose the file, this will be written right here, and once we click upload, the project will be uploaded. Be careful that once you upload a project, everything will be overwritten. So make sure that you really want to upload a project that you exported before. View data is just a quick interface to see all the variables that have been assigned, all their minimum, maximum values, their current values, how many devices are right there, and sections. So this will be useful if you need to export it, for example, and give it to someone else, just as a list of all the variables there are inside Plexus Lab. And then the logout button. Now, if we go back to system, over here, we're gonna have a quick little table on the left. This shows the status of the application. So we have three main processes that are making Plexus Lab work. The functions, black box, and cloud loop. All these will always be running. Just in case something wrong happens, here you might see that this is stopped and there's a problem going on. And you can refer to the documentation to see how to solve it. If we want to restart the system, so that means that we just want to restart from the beginning. The Plexus Lab will go through a cleaning process, let's say, of the cache and of the memory, and it will restart. All your information will still be saved, everything is there. It's just like the functions will start from beginning instead of being in the cycle that they are. Now on the right we have a setting page. So if we go on this info button right here, we can give a name to our system. So let's call it a video test, and the location. So we are in San Francisco, California. Saving. This pretty much will only change the name of our project up here, so it will show video test. If we log out also, we'll have here video test in San Francisco, California. This is very useful when you have multiple Plexus Lab installed either around the world or even in the same plant, so you can give names, and when you go to the login page, since they all look the same, you'll see that this is the machine that you want to access. So if we log back in, okay. Going back to the system page, the second thing is the Modbus mode. So this is a beta mode, and it's the ability for Plexus Lab to communicate either as a slave or a master with Modbus devices. It could be very useful to integrate with current systems. So in order to turn it on, you guys need to click this button. Now the Modbus is activated, so Plexus Lab can work as a Modbus slave or master. In the info page, we can set the Modbus IP address that we want to connect to. So we need to put, for example, our own IP address right now, which is 10.0.0.201. And the Modbus port. So the ports will always be set automatically at 502 because it's the standard for Modbus, but just in case you guys have a different port, you can set it right here. API and bridge mode, we saw it before in the devices video. So this needs to be activated if you want to be able to call or put two Plexus Lab interconnected together, or call it through our API, which again you can find inside the documentation. API password is required if you want to communicate through the bridge mode. And then we have Plexus Cloud settings. Over here, there is a bunch of keys that once you create Plexus Cloud account, you can then connect the two together to save, store data, upload backups, and so on. And here it will show, so we have an option from Plexus Cloud to be able to access externally a Plexus machine somewhere in the world and that is connected to internet. Once you create a cloud account, we'll explain it more in the cloud video. Here we'll show that if it's connected or not. And down here is just a bunch of information on how the system is performing. Really not necessary for most of the time. It's just like in case there's any issue, at least we have some data to see. Okay, so that's pretty much about all the settings that Plexus Cloud have. Everything else is in the other videos. If you have any question, please leave in the comment below or send us an email at automation@bioforcetech.com.